Welcome back to your 5-Minute Flow, where we take a moment to examine what we believe, inspect our desires, check our motivations, and survey our pursuits. Complete or total trust is easier said than done. Trust requires one to develop confidence while overcoming doubt and fear. Confidence is built through relationship and can take time to develop. Doubt and fear work in tandem with one another. They are overcome as the character or quality of that which we place our trust in is proven or becomes evident to us in time. Additionally, that proof and evidence is contingent upon how we use or interact with the object of our trust. If we misuse or disregard the instructions for a product, we cannot then blame the product or the manufacturer for it not working as promised or advertised. What does it look like to trust God with all your heart? When we trust God, we find assurance in the instructions that He gives and have confidence that they will yield favorable results. Our ability to trust is heavily influenced by our belief level in what God says to be true and our willingness to operate in that truth. But what is favorable? And how does what I believe to be true impact my willingness to obey? We generally associate favorable with things we consider pleasurable and desirable. This isn't always the case with things that are favorable. Sometimes favorable results involve moments of discomfort or challenge. These are the times when it's more difficult to set aside our will to obey the instructions God is giving us. We must recognize that the discomfort and difficulties we face on God's road is more beneficial to us than those experienced on the road we choose to construct for ourselves. Our knowledge, power, and resources are finite, giving way to conventional wisdom. Our wisdom can never match God's wisdom in charting a favorable road or path for our life. Too often, we rely on conventional wisdom to direct the course of our life. But conventional wisdom is based upon what has become socially acceptable or agreeable in man's eye. And this can vary from one location to the next. What is legal isn't always lawful, especially depending upon whether it's being viewed under God's law or man's law. God's law is eternal and immutable, making it the best source for establishing what is legal. Man's law, on the other hand, is temporal and flexible. So because of the nature of man's law, what we view as legal can change based on one's place in time, location, or even state of mind. The law dictates boundaries and impacts authority, making actions, or even in some circumstances, people or places either illegal or legal. When we act illegally, we are guilty of the law we violated. Violation of man's law has a variety of penalties. These penalties discourage some people from violating them while others disregard the penalties and continue in the action. Violation of God's law, identified as sin, has the penalty of death. God's desire is that we respect and honor His law, that we would have eternal life. But because of our weak flesh and the free will He's given us, we violated His law. God, in preparation for the liberty He's given us, sacrificed His Son Jesus Christ so that we could access that eternal life and have the hope of forgiveness for the times we failed to keep His law. Just as the penalties of man's law become harsher and are intended to dissuade repeated offense, we are persuaded not to test the limits of God's mercy and forgiveness. Our conformity to God's law, will, and direction greatly impact our destination at the end of our lives, serving as an expression of our thankfulness for and faith in God's sacrifice. When we make choices throughout our life, it is important that we make them within the context of the destination we desire. The choices that align with God's will, law, or direction require focus and discipline and result in eternal life. Choices that violate God's will, law, or direction give way for distraction and may cause confusion or chaos and result in eternal torment. Is the destination of your choice eternal life or eternal torment? I believe most of us would be quick to say eternal life without hesitation. Because who desires eternal torment? But before you answer that question, consider whether your thoughts and actions align with or violate God's will, law, or direction. Thank you for joining us for your 5-minute flow. Remember, and don't forget, take action, embrace change, expect results, and share your story. Remember to like and subscribe if you desire to keep the flow.